with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Allen. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of the Erie News NOWCAST. We start tonight with continuing coverage on the Bayfront Parkway project proposed by PennDOT. According to PennDOT, the purpose is to improve the flow of traffic along the waterfront and provide more access to the Bayfront for everyone. However, some local organizations see the project as the opposite. Connect Urban Erie is an organization with a mission to empower residents of Erie's east side and downtown area. Connect Urban says they're concerned this multi-million-dollar project will cut off access to the Erie Bayfront for residents of the city, especially those who do not have transportation. I caught up with Adam Trott today. He's the president of Connect Urban Erie. He says the organization is petitioning PennDOT to change some of the project's plans and focus more on the people of the city rather than how fast traffic will move.
So what we're mostly worried about is that the design as it is right now will completely cut off the city with very few choke plates of connection at State Street and Holland Street.
Now, we also spoke to PennDOT, and they say the project plan will do the exact opposite. We're breaking down the project for you tonight on Erie News Now at 11. And it's deadline day. This Monday is when all healthcare workers in New York State at hospitals and nursing homes have to receive their first COVID-19 vaccine dose. And that is according to the State Department of Health in New York. But that could lead to worker shortages. So the state plans to declare a state of emergency, letting healthcare workers from other states and countries practice in New York. Another option includes deploying medically trained National Guard personnel. Now here's another deadline. Home care, hospice, and adult care facility workers will need to be vaccinated by October 7th. Governor Hochul commended all healthcare workers who have gotten vaccinated so far, and she encourages those who are still unvaccinated to do so as soon as possible. And according to the Department of Labor, workers who lose their jobs because of refusal to be vaccinated will not be eligible for unemployment insurance unless they have a valid doctor-approved request for medical accommodation. And meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, COVID-19 case totals continue climbing with more than 12,000 cases reported statewide this weekend. 87 more deaths over the past 3 days being reported in the Commonwealth as well. In Erie County tonight, another COVID-related death reported and 173 people testing positive for the virus. And dozens of people in our area get a COVID-19 vaccine shot this weekend, and they got to enjoy some entertainment while they got it too. Officials at AHN St. Vincent vaccinated 60 people this weekend at the Blues and Jazz Festival at Erie's Frontier Park. This summer, they've been at 8 Great Tuesdays, 814 Day, and National Night Out, all to get shots in people's arms. AHN says it's all about getting out in the community and meeting people where they are, providing easy vaccine access.
While we may not have been able to provide, hundreds and hundreds of doses at all of these events, there is definitely a benefit in being in the community and being able to educate the community as to the importance of receiving their first dose or their third dose.
Officials at AHN said they gave more booster shots this weekend than first doses, but their plan is to continue to be out in the community to vaccinate as many people as possible. And for millions of Americans, the rush is on to get a COVID-19 booster shot. Last week, a CDC advisory panel approved the third Pfizer shots for people 65 and older and some with underlying medical conditions. But in a rare move, the CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, went even further, opening up boosters to frontline workers, saying it's really for people who are working with many different people who might be unvaccinated. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccine recipients are not yet eligible for boosters. And in the 30-year-old case of a 5-year-old girl murdered in East Erie, it's about to get some national attention. The case of little Lila Ebright and her killer, Scott Schroet, will be featured this week on A&E's Kids Behind Bars series. And a story you'll only see on Erie News Now. Lisa Adams reports.
Little Lila Ebright's disappearance in April of 1992 set off a community-wide search, in time revealing a shocking crime at the hands of a teenager.
He went back 3 different times to strangle her, to choke her until her death.
Lila's Aunt Kathy keeps a scrapbook of the tragedy, including a list of people who scoured Erie neighborhoods for days before Lila's decomposing body was found in a dumpster near her home.
Do you ever get over something like this?
You never do. Never. My youngest son was
Lila's best friend. They went to school together, and he was devastated.
The terrible crime happened in 1992 here on Seneca Street. 5-year-old Lila living on this side, her killer a 17-year-old who lived on this side. And the sad thing is, while the entire community was searching for a missing little girl, her killer knew he had placed her body in a banana box that was sitting right on his porch. Scott Schroet's juvenile lifer sentence was one of those reviewed after a 2012 U.S. Supreme Court ruling found mandatory juvenile life sentences unconstitutional. When the convicted killer returned to court for his review 2 years ago in his 40s, claiming the death was an accident, the family was relieved when the sentence was reimposed.
When they said, you know, he's staying where he is, it was like a sigh of relief. It was beautiful.
But Lila's family will never know what a beautiful life she might have had.
You know, would she have had children, where she'd be living, what she'd be doing his first career.
One reason they're willing to share her story with A&E. The other, a caution to parents of young kids around anyone.
Just know where your children are. Keep them safe.
Very sad story there. The A&E team was in Erie recently talking with others involved in this case, and we're told they interviewed Scott Schroet by phone. The program airs this Thursday at 10 p.m. And as businesses all over the country struggle with supply shortages, local flower shops are feeling the pinch too. Some are so short in supply, they're asking the public for help. The owner of Larice Floral Design says after nearly 5 decades in the business, he's never seen shortages so severe. From week to week, the shop doesn't know what varieties of flowers they'll be able to get, and quantity and color vary constantly too. But it's not just flowers in short supply. Larice says he struggles getting everything from vases to ribbon and even corsage pins as he waits for shipments to arrive from overseas. He's asking the public to be patient and flexible because his situation changes day by day.
I've never seen anything like this before. It's just very difficult, and it's hard to predict. We don't know how we're going to deal with it. We don't know what's going to happen next week.
And Larice says there's no end in sight. Even if shipping delays are solved, the spring planting season was complicated by COVID-19, so flower shortages might still be a problem. And the African American Concerned Clergy of Erie is helping members of the community get back to work. We first told you about this job fair at the Booker T. Washington Center last week, and today it all came together. Local businesses offered on-site interviews to those in attendance. The Intercity Job Fair is part of the clergy's new initiative called Get Erie Back to Work. The program helps connect local employers with new workers.
Just wanted to come check it out and see what opportunities they have to give us because, you know, a lot of people in the inner city really don't have the resources to get to or have the access for certain things. So to bring it here to Booker T is a good thing.
35 businesses attended that event today. And thanks for joining us for this edition of the Erie News Nowcast. Join us for our next news at 10 p.m. on the CW and 11 p.m. on WICU and WSEE. Have a great night.